Colts 39-38. What a game for the Browns yesterday. They started it off with a bang, 69-yard touchdown for Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford was hurt, but that started things off. But then the Colts came right back and hit that tough Browns defense with the 75-yard touchdown, and then off to the races we went, because this game absolutely just went crazy yesterday. The Browns scored 27 in the first half, gave up 21. Second half, they scored 12 points, gave up 17. This Browns team gave up literally more points in this game than they probably given up in the last 2 weeks. So, and they gave up pretty much half of the yardage that they had given up at this point too. They came to the game giving up they had given up 1,002 yards. Yesterday, the Colts were able to get 456 yards in total on them yesterday. So that whole fun of setting records and all that good stuff got kind of dashed yesterday because the Colts had themselves a game that nobody really truly saw coming. But Gardner Minshew is a veteran in this league, so let's not be surprised that Gardner Minshew is able to have big games like the one he had yesterday. Gardner Minshew threw for 305, went 15 for 23, had a 119 QBR, and was sacked 4 times in this game and threw an interception. That's what makes it so crazy to me. And then he threw for 2 touchdowns as well too. Minshew also scored 2 touchdowns on the ground running as well too, and he threw in a little shimmy. But he also fumbled the ball 3 times and lost all 3 of those fumbles. So he had a great great game. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I think they're in safe hands with Minshew. They just have to have their defense step it up just a little bit more, knowing that they have a quarterback that's a little bit turnover prone. You know what I mean? And he has to do them a favor by using more clock. The Browns won yesterday because literally they had some gimmies, and the Browns never get gimmies. Okay. And, I looked at it and I said, okay, PJ Walker is not it, but PJ Walker is a gamer. He's not going to quit. And it showed you in the last drive when he hit Elijah Moore on the go route in the final drive, that this guy is somebody that that you can trust in this situation because he's just a quarterback. You know what I mean? But I feel like if he had more time with the playbook, this would probably be a little bit better for him. But he's a very underskilled quarterback, but he's a winner. That's the whole thing. And we know from his XFL days how good he can be. And we know from his Temple days how good he can be. So that's why the Browns were very confident in bringing him into the game. That's why they made sure they elevated him to the active roster. He wasn't even an active roster member until Saturday. And DTR, the rookie, had to sit out. I think that if DTR was in the game, the Browns probably would have lost this, with the way that the circumstances went at that moment because he's a rookie. But I think if DTR actually played, it could have been an easier game for the Browns because he would have knew how to eat up the clock a little bit more, and it would have been a more of a conservative run game for the Browns going in this one. With the Browns, they had to balance it out, do a whole lot of everything, but the defense kept things in check. The defense, if they didn't give up so many points because of what the lack of offense yesterday, this could have been a signature victory for the Browns for their defense, because their defense probably had their best stat game of the year. 4 sacks, 3 fumbles lost, interception. These are huge. A defensive touchdown, a blocked field goal. They did so much yesterday that defenses, rarely do in a whole game like that. So, even though they gave up almost 500 yards yesterday, they still showed that, when we got it locked in and we play our game, we're really tough to beat. And that's exactly what happened because the Browns didn't quit in this game. They knew it was a winnable game, and they went out there and won it. And this winds up being the game of the week because the way it just finished and the way that it went. It was an absolute must-see TV game, and it was so good that CBS didn't even want to cut away from it because they knew the next game that they was going to wasn't going to really pick up until, the second or third quarter. So, that's how good this game was yesterday. They literally had the broadcasters not wanting to leave the game. So, with that, Browns 4-2. You have a Colts team now 3-4. Browns second place in the division right now, but they're tied with the Steelers for the second place in the division. And then you still have the Ravens sitting on top of the division. And I say Ravens because Ravens is who we're talking about next. And so pretty much the Ravens make easy work of the Lions with the 38-6